Hey, Garbrac here with another Elder Scrolls Online video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the 50 plus zones. I don't really have a lot to say negatively about Elder Scrolls Online. I honestly think ZeniMax is doing a fantastic job making a single-player game into an MMO and still keeping the same feel of the Elder Scrolls games. But one area of the game, or at least one area of the concept, isn't Elder Scrolls-ish, mainly just because it kind of goes against the lore of everything they're doing. Now, the fact that you're able to explore and stuff like that all makes sense, but let me explain what these 50 plus zones are. So, the 50 plus zones is a zone that you're able to enter at level cap, so at level 50. You'll be able to go into these zones, and these zones are essentially the other realm zones, the other faction zones. So you'll be able to go into Ebonheart Pack, you'll be able to go into Daggerfall, or you'll be able to go into Eldermere Dominion, depending on what faction you start with. Now, when you go into these zones, everything is the same. So the only difference is, one, the NPCs are of your faction, so you won't see any other faction races. So if you play on Eldermere Dominion, you'll see your three factions. If you play on Ebonheart, you'll see your three races. You won't see any other players. It's just your faction players. So you'll still see your friends, anybody that's in your campaign, you'll see in these zones. But you won't see any other enemies. The only real player enemies that you're going to see are in Cyrodiil. Now, that's not the issue I have. The issue I have is, one, it goes against the lore of the game. The lore of the game is alliances at war. You're competing in Cyrodiil to try and capture the Imperial City. So you have your alliances at war, and then you also have a side, not really a side, but another storyline next to that. And that's the Molag Bal storyline of him trying to rip Tamriel apart and bring it into Cold Harbor. So you kind of have two storylines going here. But the way these zones work is, like I said, you're able to go into the other faction's territory. My biggest question to this is, if I'm playing Eldermere Dominion, how can I go into Whiterun? I mean, it's in Skyrim. It's not part of my Dominion. I'm at war with this faction. How can I go into Whiterun? How can I go into Skyrim without having any conflicts? If I'm at war with these people in Cyrodiil, in the same timeline, it's not like I'm going through a portal and changing time areas and stuff like that. It's all in the same timeline, so I don't understand how I can go into these zones without any conflict. Now, some of the comments I'm getting are, it's not immersion breaking. Some people say it is. It's an Elder Scrolls game, so it makes sense to be able to explore everything. I agree. Elder Scrolls games are made so you can explore everything, but Elder Scrolls games are very diverse in lore and they stick to it. Except for on Elder Scrolls Online. Now, they might create some sort of storyline, or they might even have a storyline, just haven't released it, saying why you're going into these zones. But as it stands right now, with the information that we've been provided, and if you read the article, there's a couple quotes from Paul Sage, but with the information we've been provided, this is what we know. You're going into the other faction zones. You're going to be doing the other faction's quest, but given to you by somebody from your faction. So, if I'm going into a starting zone for Ebonheart, it's going to be like, we'll say a level 10 area. We go into there as level 50, everything's going to be scaled up, all the monsters are going to be scaled up, all the loot's going to be scaled up. But essentially, I'm still doing all of their storylines. Why? Why am I there? I just don't, I can't grasp why I'm there, and everyone's saying, well, it's not a big deal. How is that not a big deal? Like, I'm not trying to start a big rage or anything like that about the hands, but we'll talk about the hands. I mean, everyone said it was immersion breaking not having the hands in first-person view. I'll agree in some aspects, sure, it makes sense. I mean, that's part of Elder Scrolls games. But how is not having hands immersion breaking, but being able to explore your enemy's territory without any conflicts not immersion breaking? Some people said, well, you'll be able to go into Cyrodiil and visit other factions' towns and do quests and encounter other factions that way. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, it's Cyrodiil, it's an entire area, people have captured areas, you've recaptured them, that all makes sense. But why am I going into Whiterun? Why am I going into Skyrim? Why am I going into... I don't know any other zone names off the top of my head right now. We're going to go with Skyrim. Why am I there? I really want that question answered. I think that's probably the biggest question that ZeniMax can give me an answer to right now. You guys are the ones who played Elder Scrolls for years. I probably only have like a couple months worth of time. You guys all have years and dedicated a lot more time to these games than I have. Do you guys agree that being able to explore these zones with no conflict and having your NPCs over there giving you quests that the other faction's supposed to be doing, do you agree that makes sense, or do you not agree? Do you think it's immersion breaking? Do you think it's immersion full? I would really like to know what you guys think on this. Link to the article is down below. Feel free to either put a comment on the YouTube comment section under this video, or make an account on TessoElite.com and put a comment there. There's also a pretty good discussion happening over on Reddit as well, if you want to head up over there. As always, if you found this video informative in any way, found it funny in any way, probably not, please like and subscribe. I apologize, I've been out for the last little while. I haven't been able to keep up to date on the videos, but I'm going to try to do at least one video a week, doing a recap as to what's happened throughout the week. Other than that, I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend, and let's see what we can get this week. Hopefully more betas! More betas! I want some betas! Betas! I want some betas!